Hi, everybody. My name's Jason Moseley, and I'm the CEO of IBIS. Welcome to another Partners in the Spotlight. We have a very special one for you today with one of our longest serving and longest supporting partners, Enterprise. I'm really excited to be speaking today to the CEO of Enterprise Holdings, Chrissy Taylor. So hi, Chrissy, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. So look, before we dive into some of the nitty gritty of business and find out what Enterprise has been up to, if I'm correct, Enterprise is a family founded business, and if I've got my information correct, it was your grandfather Jack Taylor who founded the business. So these are challenging times for all families. So my first question is to you: how are you? How's your family? And how are you coping at the moment? Is everybody well?
Yes, thank you very much for asking. Everybody is well. Thank you very much. These certainly are challenging times. And being a family business, everything is colliding. So work, family, all the things that we have to do seem to be like a bowl of spaghetti, and they're all together. So I became CEO in January. But then I also graduated from first and fourth grade with online schooling. I was very impressed with my, education with my girls. And then, summer camp is now open at my house. And so, right, it's just a really confusing time right now and stressful for everyone. Yeah. And so I think our family has been very focused on how do we take a moment to recharge for everybody's mental health. And it's challenging, it's stressful out there. And so I've really just appreciated the family time more than ever with my girls. And then my father and my mother, they are great. He is the chairman of the organization. But everybody is healthy. Thank you for asking. And I hope you and everybody else are well.
We're doing just fine. We're learning more and more about a digital virtual world all the time as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So you mentioned, Chrissy, you became CEO back in January, and obviously you have a business family. You have associates around the world, and you walked into something that has just been unprecedented in our time and in our industry. So how did you, as the leader of the organization, there must have been an incredible sense of responsibility there to your associates, to the business. How did you as a leader decide what to do, how to do it, how to navigate it? Just give us some insights on where did you start? How did you approach it?
Yeah, since it is our family business, and obviously I'm now the new CEO, my timing wasn't great, but hey, it's all good. I feel an incredibly personal commitment to the organization, and so does my family. And over our 63-year history, we have managed through numerous cycles, whether it's 9/11, the fuel crisis in the 70s. We also had the Great Recession in 08 and 09, but nothing could have prepared us for the profound impact and velocity of COVID-19. And so we had to take quick action, very quick action. And so the first thing we did was consolidate our rental operations. And so we went to a hub and spoke model. So at any time, at the lowest point, only 30% of our rental operations were open, and that was for the health and the safety of our customers, our employees, and all of our partners, because we needed to reduce the foot traffic and make sure everyone was safe. We then moved to curbside rentals, which just like you pick up your food curbside, we had rentals curbside. And then in some cases, we had delivery. And then we've also launched our Complete Clean Pledge, which we can talk a little bit about later. But health and safety has become our #1 priority. But overall, as we look into the future, because we're family owned, we've been reinvested back into the business, our financial stability is going to help us carry through and weather through this storm. And that is very, very important because we can still think long term. We've had to make incredibly difficult decisions, but we have the best team out there, and we're still thinking about the long term.
Okay, so hearing what you're saying and having spoken to sort of other CEOs. Would you say that having a clear vision and sense of what you want to do and the fundamental culture that underpins the business was one of the guiding lights in helping you navigate this?
Absolutely. As we went through this, we streamlined our operations and we streamlined marketing, IT, all of the departments. We came together to work towards only a few initiatives. So we were laser focused and we could move very quickly. Because as I said, the velocity of this thing was mind blowing. And one of the initiatives that we're working on is our low touch and ultimately no touch rental experience. And so our marketing, our IP, our product teams, we are all working towards this because it's under the umbrella of health and safety and making sure that we are building confidence in the consumers that it is a safe way to move. So we need to make sure that people feel confident that they have a secure experience.
Absolutely. And that sort of, it's a lovely segue into the next question I had for you. I guess some projects you were working on pre-COVID-19. So what, and I think you've touched on some of those, but I'd just like to find out a bit more. Which of those things, I guess the whole no touch aspect of thing, the health and safety aspect, just tell us a little bit about how they have been pretty much, you've had to obviously expedite some of those things that you were already working on and just reintroduce them and execute them a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And streamlining and being very transparent and communicate and clear about what we want to accomplish and what our goals are very, very important. And we were already working on a customer experience initiative before this. And ultimately, we would have gotten to no touch rentals, but really that fast forwarded everything. And so we basically cleared the table and said, low touch and no touch and safety and well-being is our number one priority. And I think that goes to a bigger umbrella of innovation. This has been a really challenging time in our history, but we can never lose sight that we need to keep investing and innovating for the future. We've had to make hard decisions and difficult decisions, but we still have to take a long-term view because we will come out of this and we will come out of this stronger. And so we've got to make sure that we continue to invest both in technologies like low touch and no touch, but also our people and the development of our people.
Okay, great. So just drilling down a little bit more then. So could you give us just a couple of examples for maybe people who are tuning into to our interview about what does no touch mean for the consumer? What sort of things are you delivering at sort of an operational level that, you know, when we go to pick up our replacement vehicle or our hire car, what's some of the things we're going to experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're using our digital properties so that our customers can check in early so that we already have all of the details within our rental application. And so when they walk in, we can then use our Launchpad, which is our tablet-based rental application, and meet them curbside. We can then walk around the vehicle, check the cleanliness, check the maintenance on the vehicle, and then get them on their way using that Launchpad. So it's really important that we use all of our technology to deliver the new customer experience with health and safety in mind. So there are lots of things and more to come, but those are just a few of the things that we're working on. Really, really exciting.
Great. And just touching on that again, a next sort of question regarding sort of operational side of things. I guess it's brought new challenges in terms of sanitizing vehicles as well. But that's had to go to a whole new level. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that's thrown up?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have rolled out our Complete Clean Pledge, which we are putting like never before. We are putting our brand and reputation behind cleaning our vehicles and also having clean rental locations and shuttles. We already had very rigorous standards for all of those practices, but now we've taken it to the next level because that customer experience is changing. And so we have gone out and released new training. We've also are assessing all of our car wash bays. What are the right products? What are the right tools? We also have a new 20-point certification to clean the vehicles. And then that is also in our shuttle buses with social distancing and cleaning. Also our locations with social distancing and how many people can be in the lobby and using disinfectants to sanitize. And so we have done a complete overhaul in what is the expectation of the customer and making sure that we are building confidence in the consumer so that then when they're ready to get back on the road, we are ready for them. It is very, very important that we maintain the highest of levels.
Yeah. So moving a little bit closer to home from a sort of IBIS perspective, let's talk a little bit about the vehicle replacement in the collision repair stroke auto claims market. And I imagine everything you've just said is absolutely equally applicable across that sector too. But how do you see that sector developing in terms of a company like Enterprise, who you clearly invested in technology and you're clearly leading the way in terms of that a vehicle substitution aspect? Do you think, although we've had a difficult time right now, do you think ultimately those difficult times will ultimately give you a competitive advantage in that field because of the way you've reacted?
Yeah, I think if we continue to do what we do best, which is innovate, develop people, and lead, we will absolutely have we will keep our competitive advantage. But to the industry overall, we should expect changes. And I think the entire industry is thinking about it. I think we will continue to move towards seamless claims, seamless repair process to enhance the customer experience. And for us specifically, we will continue to innovate and offer technology solutions like our Integral product, like ARMS, like CAT, that have all been in the market for a very, very long time. Because even during challenging times, we want to help reduce expenses and improve customer experience. And those technologies really help integrate the entire process. But then ultimately, the customer should win in that. That's about enhancing the customer experience. And so we continue to invest in those products, and we're very excited about the future. And we're excited to do it with the industry.
Brilliant. And look, the other aspect of this is obviously you repair a lot of vehicles annually as well. How do you think that will change? You touched on the whole touchless things, which is equally as applicable. We hear about, as you mentioned, the touchless estimating processes, the use of AI, etc. How do you think that repair process will change going forward, Chrissy?
Yeah, thanks for the question, because we have 1 million cars just in the US and our fleet was just about 1.4 million globally. And so now more than ever, safety and the well-being and a well-maintained car is our #1 priority. So I just want to give a big thanks to all of our repair and collision partners and all of those local relationships that we have out there. They are so important because we are putting that vehicle on the road, and that is our product. And so we've got to make sure that they are well maintained and we keep a high expectation. And so when we think about the repair process, before pre-COVID and now, we were working with our repair partners to make sure that they follow OEM procedures because we want to make sure that they're certified. And then we're implementing checks and balances to make sure that's being done, and also new tools. But our partnerships are incredibly important. And then also at the end of that, we scan every single vehicle because we want to make sure that we're building the confidence of the consumer and it is a well-maintained vehicle. So critical. So we really enjoy our local relationships with our collision shops.
And I think that we hear that all the time from the insurance claims industry, collision repair. It's all about that reinstating that vehicle in a safe way so it goes back on the road, and making sure it's scanned properly and checked. I think is very important in terms of a duty of care. So I think the industry would welcome certainly what you've just said. I think that is an absolute priority. Moving on, if we look at COVID-19 again, we can't avoid touching on it. We saw miles driven drop off a cliff. How are you seeing things now as gradually economies are opening up? We see relaxation of markets around the world. How are you seeing the whole mobility landscape now starting to reinstate itself and miles driven? And just to add to that before you sort of answer that, we got some data from some forecasters in Europe that said people are less likely to be jumping on a plane in Europe and maybe moving from the UK to Spain for their holidays. They may be deciding to stay in their country and drive to holiday destinations. Mm-hmm. So it could be that we see an increase in miles driven, accidents, replacement vehicles. From the data you've seen, what's your view on that? What are you seeing, and where do you think that will go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've touched on a lot of it. And so for our operations, the breadth and depth of our business lines and that coverage really helps us weather this storm. And so 1/3 of our operation happens in the airport, and then 2/3 are in the home city, neighborhood, replacement rentals. And so that diversity really helps us hold up our business. Yeah. And you are right. There is a huge opportunity for us in our suburban and neighborhood locations, which is a competitive advantage for us, that people have been in their houses, they're ready to get out, and they want to go on a road trip. And they may be staying in their countries, they want to go to the beach, they want to go visit family members that they haven't been able to. And so our home city leisure business is definitely ticking up. So we saw that significantly in the US because we had Memorial Day as a holiday, and we definitely saw that leisure business start pick up, and we've seen momentum ever since. Hence, we named May Momentum May, and now we're in June, and we're jamming in June because it's a super opportunity for us. And that business traveler, I think, yes, airline travel will be slow, and the airlines have said that. And so that business travel will continue. It will slowly come back, but that leisure traveler, absolutely, which then results in if there's more people traveling for leisure, there's the potential of getting into an accident, which then the claims volume will continue to increase. And we have been seeing steady increases in accidents and frequency. So we're watching that very, very carefully. But as we said, everyone is going to get back on the road and get back to living at their own speed. And for us in the industry, it's really important that when they're ready and the consumer is ready, that we're ready.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Chrissy. So everything we've spoken about so far today requires, having great people in your organization, a great team, and you've touched on that. During our IBIS event last year in Italy, we were lucky enough to have your colleague Mary Mahoney speak at our event. And she talked about enterprises' approach to mobility as a service. And one of the key points she mentioned there was being able to harness talent in the business. Can you tell us a bit more about enterprise and how you manage talent internally and some of the things you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Our people have been phenomenal, and that has never been more true than in these challenging times. And our leadership team is just awesome. And that really speaks volumes to our management training program. And so that's where I started. I started as an intern and then entered our management training program, where you're in the location and you're learning how to run a business. You're getting an MBA on the job. You're understanding profit and loss statement, customer service and our scores, marketing, growing your business. And so that's about developing a career and not just having a job. And 95% of our upper management team, including me, started that way. So we started renting cars, understanding what the business is. And that understanding and those fundamentals have driven the outstanding leadership that we have seen during this challenging time. And always, we have always got to continue to reinvest in our people because that's what makes us so strong. And through this whole thing, they have been so inspiring. the professionalism, the leadership. I think I already said this, but just
Yes.
absolutely amazing. And it goes right back to our management training program and all the things we do to support them.
Wonderful. That's wonderful to hear. So, Chrissy, I've just got one final question for you. IBIS and Enterprise, we have a long-standing history together. I think over 10 years, you've been a partner and supported our thought leadership events and been right at the forefront, certainly in the insurance claims industry and collision repair in terms of driving change and being innovative. Can you tell us just a little bit why that's so important to Enterprise, why those sort of relationships are important to you in the market?
Absolutely. So when my grandfather founded Enterprise, he was in a dealership with a repair shop in the local market and understood that the replacement rentals were a very significant piece of our business and a huge opportunity. And to this day, those neighborhoods, those communities are so important to us. And so that includes our relationship. And it did. It started 10 years ago, and I was actually in the UK with our team as the relationship was starting. And
yes,
it has provided such a wonderful platform for us to connect at a global level with all of our partners and repairs and technology companies and collision. And so it's been a really great platform for us to engage, and also a really great platform like right now, just to say thank you to all of the men and women that are involved in this organization and are out there in these challenging times. We couldn't do it without the partnerships, and we truly, truly appreciate your partnership and your leadership as an industry in all of this.
Great. Chrissy, listen, thank you so much for such an engaging discussion. I think the industry should be very proud to have such passion in the sector and such kind words about working together as partners in the industry, as a complete supply chain to support each other, especially in the more recent difficult times. So, Chrissy, thanks again so much. I know your time is very valuable at the moment. We really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Take care and stay safe.